Zoom. I open the window and he jumps right in there. Well, that'll keep him busy. Here we go. Hi there. Welcome once again, everybody, except that it's not Cast Iron Wednesday this time. This is unfortunately Cast Iron Thursday. As I said in the description there, unfortunately, I was scheduled for the work pager last night. And because there were certainly interruptions, there was no choice but to reschedule this for tonight. Fortunately, we still have plenty of time because, as also as seen in the description here, this is excuse me. This is me clearing my throat. This is a preparation for Valentine's Day, which is 4 days and nights from now, namely this coming Monday, and there's still plenty of time for it. So, happy Valentine's Day to everybody here who was kind enough to show up. It's nice to see everybody here again, like Papa Dan. Hello, Papa Dan. Jimmy Langford, Pedro, Pack, or PAC, Calazzo, Clico, Rex Housley, Val's Black Cats Rule. Boy, definitely some familiar faces here. And it's always nice to see friends here like you showing up. So thank you very much for all of that. Thank you for being here, as always. Um, yeah, this is, of course, our channel where we get to play with some cast iron, and that's exactly what we are going to be doing here tonight. Because I mean, again, we've got Valentine's Day coming. Hello, Shadow Walker XM. Hey, Papa, pleased to see you. Yes, definitely. I hope your eyes are doing okay, Papa. Damn. And now, as I said, well, again, we've got 4 days until Valentine's Day or Lupercalia or whatever, whichever holiday you want to celebrate. I also have 4 birthdays coming up within the next week. I've got, let me see, Jamie's son. I've got my BFF Mama Bear. I've got my friend Anthony in New York and my brother, all of whom have birthdays within the next week. And I don't seem to be the only one either. It seems like a lot of people I know of have birthdays around this time of year. So happy birthday. So got to consider that too, which is one reason why we're doing a cake tonight as well, because hey, that's where I guess the whole thing comes in. Namely, again, it's Valentine's Day, and this is where a lot of us want to do something special for a certain someone, whether it's your wife or your or husband, or your girlfriend or boyfriend, or some other significant other. Hopefully, if you have a wife, husband, and girlfriend and boyfriend all at the same time, well, keep it to yourself. Um, Other than that, though, I mean, again, this is when we do special things. We're supposed to do special things for the people we love anyway. I mean, we can get into that some other time because, yeah, on the other hand, we've got the whining, oh, I don't care much about Valentine's Day. Oh, well, tough. This isn't exactly the subject of that. This here is going to be cooking something nice for a special someone. And that is where, of course, cast iron comes into the mix because, as they say, cast iron makes everything better. And definitely, if there's one thing I learned, at least during those times when I was in a relationship with someone, I found definitely if you want to really impress the person who is closest to you, you really want to cook for them. That really means a lot because you're doing something very personal and something meaningful and from the heart. Like they say, from the heart. Um, yeah. And also because, quite frankly, prices have gone up. Man, have they gone up recently. So that's another reason, of course, to cook for them because well, really a lot less expensive too. I mean, especially since a lot of cooking that you can do, especially in cast iron, is actually really, really easy, as I've found out over the years. As such, I mean, really cooking a nice meal for a person close to you is certainly one of the best things you could possibly do on Valentine's Day. There is, of course, the whole give me jewelry and gifts thing, which I'm not going to get into. And then there's the other thing that you do on Valentine's Day, which I'm also not going to get into because YouTube would shut me down if I did. So, all right. Well, no, I'm talking about the other subjects. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And anyway, there's even nothing wrong with cooking for yourself. Okay, that takes care of the Valentine's Day sermon, I think. So once again, yeah. Hello again. Hello, Crafts for Others and Terry Sinchef. Terry, the email that you sent me, are you referring to my website? I honestly wasn't sure. And hello, William Hurt, who says hello, Jamie, and yeah, and she says, "What's up, William Hurt? How you doing?" So I always get two ads when this show starts. Oh, my condolences for that. I'm not sure if it is because of YouTube, which it could very well be, or if you've got some other kind of advertising thing on your computer. Might not be a bad idea for folks who don't do this to download a cleaning app for your computer, because some of them are really good and I use them every day, like C Cleaner, for instance. The letter C Cleaner. I use that every day and it helps keep my computer fresh and clean. And no, they're not even paying me for that. So, okay, now, yes, Valentine's Day. Give me good food every time. Definitely. They say, of course, the way to a man's heart or woman's heart is through his stomach. All you do is take a left turn at the spleen. So, okay. And having said that, I guess let's see what we can do tonight about playing with some cast iron. As I also mentioned, we came up with the cute little slogan for tonight: steak and cake. Because that's really what it turned out. On one hand, this gives me an excuse, of course, to play with a certain enameled cast iron pan that I got a couple of years ago, especially at this time of year. And it's one that one that I've gotten a number of uses out of, even not on Valentine's Day. And that, of course, once again, is the enameled cast iron heart pan here. I paid $20 for this at Bed Bugs and Beyond. So I know they sell much more expensive versions of this thing elsewhere, but especially this time of year, if you don't mind getting it on the cheap, you could probably get yourself a good bargain on this thing. I mean, granted, of course, you know what they say, you get what you pay for too, which is why I have to be very careful when using this thing. And of course they have much more expensive ones from like Le Creuset and the like, so which are just that, a lot more expensive. Yes, this is definitely Asian made, for the record. As it's been said before, don't want to break this, but the simple fact is that there are no enameled cast iron makers at all in the United States. Yes, with one small exception. But all of the big manufacturers, including Lodge Cast Iron, for the record, they have their enameled cast iron made overseas. I mean, yes, most of it comes from Asia. From what I understand, even a number of the European makers have their enameled cast iron made in Asia. I don't believe that's Le Creuset, no, and I don't believe that's Stobe. But nonetheless, a great majority of cast iron, enamel cast iron, does come from Asia. And really, the subject of that is also something that's come up before, and one that I'm not interested in getting into, because right now we're here to have fun with cast iron. And besides, as everything, when taken in moderation and you're careful about it, modern day enamel cast iron is safe. So, hello as well to Peg Tooth and Crafts for Others and Mark Steeler. Environmental regulations and dirt cheap labor. Yes, that's certainly true, unfortunately. And there is a lot of politics involved with that, but it's not really something that I'm going to be ever, not unless something major happens in the future. But otherwise, no, I'm not calling for some kind of a boycott of enameled cast iron. I mean, if folks want to do that, that is, of course, your choice, which is fine as well, because again, it's your kitchen and you can do what you want with it. Having said that, let's get down to some cooking, shall we? Because that's the other thing I enjoy, is that making a cake, or a basic cake anyway, is really very, very easy to do. Those, especially around this time of year, there's usually at least one episode of some sitcom or TV show or something. Here, let me start moving this over, in fact. All right, so You know, there's always some episode of some sitcom or another where where usually you see the boyfriend basically tearing his kitchen apart, making a disaster, breaking all kinds of pots and pans, and using like a year's worth of stuff all to bake a cake, which is usually burned and usually comes out looking and tasting terrible. When in fact, baking a cake is really, really easy. So especially since I've got this enameled cast iron pan here that also makes a nice baking dish. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's the right size. You can do a nice big heart-shaped cake in, and that's exactly what I've done a couple of times and what we'll be doing tonight. Although one thing I hadn't had a chance to do, oh, careful, hadn't had a chance to do yet in my prep work, which I better start doing right now. And that's one of the secrets, of course. They call it baker's goop. Oh, and of course, I did forget one thing. I forgot the shortening. I'll be back in just a second. Always forget something. Okay. All right. Always forget something because I'm preparing a special. Okay, because I'm preparing a special concoction that they call baker's goop. And this is one of the secrets of baking a cake. You know, as they say a lot of times. Oh, good. Glad to hear that. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because you know how you can flour, you know how they usually say you dust and flour the cake pan, and usually that works, not always. But on the other hand, of course, you can get white flour stains on the outside of the cake when you do that. That's why they came up with a very simple and ingenious idea, which they call baker's goop. And for that, that also means, yeah, actually, I guess I will have to use the basting brush. Okay. Okay. All right. So, and here we are. Yeah. Baker's goop is really no more than 2 tablespoons each of flour, shortening, and oil, like canola oil or vegetable oil. And in fact, I'm gonna kind of not exactly cheat, but instead of flour, where did I put the cover for this already? How the heck? Oh, there it is. I'm going to be doing 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 tablespoon of cocoa, in order to give it the right color to go with the cake, so that you won't get any white stains on the outside of the cake. There we go. 1 of each. And sorry if I'm moving too slow. I'm trying to be careful here, and unfortunately, it seems like I just can't move very fast in these kind of circumstances here. So that's 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 tablespoons of oil. Here we are. We've got some vegetable oil. Getting low on vegetable oil here. Oh, that's all right. I have plenty of canola as well. So, okay, there's 1. There's 2. I mean, since we're not putting any sugar in this or anything like that, you know, we're not going to be eating it. So that's why it's really very simple. And I probably don't even have to measure it this precisely. So, and finally, the last thing, it's a little bit of good old shortening or Crisco, which technically is not shortening, I know. So here's 1. And 2. I did manage to get most of my other prep work done. I just didn't have time to put this together. Now I just gotta rinse my hands very quickly. Ugh. That's because of the way shortening sticks. And okay, get this out of the way. And then from here, carefully, that is. In fact, I should have used a bigger bowl, darn it. In fact, I'm not gonna be that dumb. Let me get a better bowl. There we go. Less chance of ruining it or spreading it all over the place. There we go. That'll do. And now it's really just a matter of mixing it all together, and that's it. Then from here, we get to paint the inside of the cake pan. This will work as well with any cake pan, of course, whether you're using an aluminum cake pan, a metal cake pan, a non-stick cake pan, or even just a cast iron skillet. You can, of course, you simply use a regular old cast iron skillet to make a cake, and it makes a perfectly good cake pan. That, of course, is one reason why cast iron cake pans are so valuable and unfortunately so rare, because they are really, really good for making cakes. Just got to get rid of the rest of these little lumps here. And this doesn't look too bad in itself, actually. I mean, it looks like maybe some kind of a frosting or something, but remember, there's no sugar in this. So it is actually quite bitter, and this is not something I would want to sample myself. On the other hand, there we go. Here is our baker's goop. That was not very difficult. Now, except I'm getting this all over myself already. Paper towel time. Now, let us paint. Actually, I wonder if I can get even closer. Okay. Let us paint this with some of this baker's goop. Then from there, we will get down to finishing the cake mix. As you can see, this, I paint about as well as a 3-year-old, don't I? Bob Ross, I am not. I saw this meme the other day. What would happen if Bob Ross and Gordon Ramsay switched places? It's like Bob Ross would be saying, "Oh yeah, no, that chicken, just needs to be cooked a little bit more. Don't tell anybody. That'll be our little secret." On the other hand, of course, you see Gordon Ramsay saying, "You call that a tree?" So that would have been interesting. Maybe a little bit more. And I think we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Actually, I better go all the way up here because this cake rises pretty nice, very nice indeed, actually. And from here, let me reassure you, I actually did a fair amount of the cake prep already. I don't have the batter entirely ready, but I did get all of the dry ingredients mixed together. I even brought the eggs out so that they're coming to room temperature. That's actually, from what I know, that's pretty unusual. So, on the whole, I was doing pretty good with the prep work. There we go. Get this out of the way, and I think we are good. All right. Having done that, let me check a couple of comments, and then, yeah, definitely. Ugh. Did not want to do that. Did that out of habit more than anything else. Ugh. And Hellstreak, what type of weather did you have today? Western New York gets weathered the next day. Yeah, now we're in the middle of something of a warm streak. It was 50 degrees today, and I understand by Saturday it's going to be almost 60, which is very unusual for February here in New England. Crafts for others, I think Gordon Ramsay might have a strip or two for his I'd have a strip or two for his painting, and then said it's done. Yeah. This brand is ASL, or no, that's not right. Not ASL. But anyway, it is an Asian-made enamel Dutch oven that came from Bed Bugs or Bed Bath and Beyond. If you look on their website, you will see it because they sell the same thing every year for about $20. So, have you ever heard of Stover cast iron? I have seen actually a number of cast iron waffle irons, in fact, made by Stover, and I understand there are a couple of other rare things as well. Stover is one of those little known and very rare vintage brands that if you were able to get your hands on one of those, you'd be really in luck. So at least as far as collectors are concerned. Andrew Bonificio, I got a set of the large stoneware casserole pans. Use them for lasagna. Well, that should be interesting. Yeah, no, not ASL. I did goof. As a matter of fact, it says here AKS. See, So yes, I made a mistake. And I know AKS stands for art. I think it's artisanal kitchen supply, maybe. So okay, Lodge has cast iron bakeware. Yes, and they have been pushing their bakeware too. So okay, hello, and Big John and Flash 1499. All right. Okay, let's get down to our next step here, which means I get to pick. And folks have already said a few things about my mixer, most of which it probably deserves, as you're about to find out. So, okay, here we go. Namely, it sounds really interesting. Okay, yeah, I have already done the dry ingredients, thank goodness. So that means close this thing. We've already put in 2 cups each of flour, sugar, 1 cup of cocoa powder, and a teaspoon each of baking powder, baking soda, and salt. Nice and simple. Now for the wet ingredients. Okay, which means eggs, buttermilk, a little bit of hot water, and vegetable oil and extract. Okay, here we go. I even managed to bring the eggs to room temperature. Now all I gotta do is be careful not to break them. Well, break them the wrong way, that is. 1, 2. Yes. I have to say, yeah, bringing it to room temperature, I think these eggs are breaking easier too, or more sturdy rather. And 3. And then from there we go on with a cup of buttermilk. Boy, okay. Come on, let's do this right. There we go. And we add in a cup of buttermilk to this. That should start hardening this up or making it into more of a batter. There we go. Now it's starting to look a little bit more like a batter already. And here, 1 more cup of hot water. Could use coffee. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to get out the coffee. I apologize. Hold on. Let me get a better view of this for you guys. There we go. Sorry, I'm trying to get... Sorry about the roller coaster here. Trying to get a better view for you, folks. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. Oh, okay. You found it? Thank you so much. Jamie dug up... Yeah, Jamie dug up some instant coffee. Nice thing about this sink of mine. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I will do that. Just a wee bit. There we go. That might even be too much. There we go. Nice thing about my sink, at least, is that I get water out of the tap that could very well burn you if you're not careful. Oh yeah, thanks to Jamie. Instead of hot water, here's some hot. Yes, here's some hot coffee. There we go. Got that all over the place. How nice. And finally, about 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. Yeah, this is actually a pretty liquid batter, no question about that. I should have taken out my 1/3 spoon already. There it is. There we go. Wow, this is in fact quite a liquid batter. I really hope. Did I get these measurements right? Yeah, it says 3 eggs, 1 cup buttermilk, 1 cup of the hot coffee, and 1/3 cup of vegetable oil. So yeah, this is actually right. It does look a little liquid, but I'm going by the measurements, and I have done this before. Nonetheless, yes, I did. You're probably thinking brownie batter. You're probably right. Yeah. Sure. Think so? No, I don't know. Take the drying ring. I use 2 cups each of flour, sugar. Hey, does anybody remember? Did you count how many cups of flour you put in? I did it beforehand. Oh shit. Well, all right. All we can do is take a chance, I guess. Trouble is in the bedroom. He is right now collapsed on the bed, I believe. So, okay. Nonetheless, all we can do is continue from here. All right, there we go. We don't want to overmix it anyway. Yeah. All right. Well, all we can do is see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, as I said, I've used this recipe a number of times before. So all we can do is trust it. Having said that, in we go, and then into the oven. You hadn't already put the liquid and then they gave you the hot coffee, did you? Well, no, I put it in the correct order. No, I know, I'm saying, but you didn't put that because you had to put the coffee in. At first, you didn't have coffee. No, I did not put in extra liquid. Okay, all right. All right. Nonetheless, here we go. The oven, for the record, is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's going to go in for about 45 to 50 minutes to take the pan to... I'm sorry, I hope I didn't get that too softly. The oven is, again, preheated to about 350 degrees. It's going to go in for about 45 to 50 minutes. And then from there, well, with any luck, we will have a cake. Other than that, though, once we do that, don't worry, we've got a little bit more here to do. So, okay, let's keep on going. Into the oven. Nice and quick. And that takes care of step 1. So, thank you again, folks. But as I said, yeah, in my case, again, there we go. Sorry about all that. I'm using an enamel cast iron pan as a cake pan because, well, that can certainly be done. I mean, if you can, of course, use any cast iron pan you want, like a cast iron skillet, even a Dutch oven. If you have maybe one of the cast iron bunt pans, or actually they are cast iron cake pans, but more commonly called bunt pans, you can, of course, use that if you want. Okay. Hello, Papa Dan. Someone asked me how the Franklin bean pot got its name. It's because bean pots were made on Franklin Street in the 1800s, somewhere in the Northeast. I really would need to look up the history of that. I really don't have a lot of detail myself, or at least not off the top of my head. So I'm sorry to sound so vague there. And hello, Miranda Benedict. Well, yeah, I enjoy that pan as well, and all I can do is hope that it turns out as well as it should. But I guess we will find out soon enough. Okay, what the heck is this? It looks like we may very well have ourselves a spammer here in the chat. Excuse me 1 second. Hide you, remove. There we go. Okay, good. Likewise. Let's see. Hide user. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. And other than that, we've got, okay, did the thumbs up as well. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's only been half an hour, so thank you again for the encouragement. So, yes, between Huber Heights and Springfield. Just checking the comments here. The mixer woke up my dog. She's looking around to figure out what's making that sound. Well, I didn't think it was that loud. Yeah, ASL. Yeah, okay. No, it wasn't ASL. I know. It was AKS, Artisanal Kitchen Supply. That was my fault there. So your mixer needs some love and an oil change. Yeah, tell me about it. That's one of those projects I definitely have to get on as soon as I can. So there's another spammer. Okay. Let me see. Whom think I took care of it. It looks like it did post two, but I'm checking the comments right now. And I'm really not seeing anything else. So I think I took care of it. If I did miss it, please let me know immediately. So anyway, I appreciate your patience. But nonetheless, now thanks to this, I guess we can get on to another part of our little Valentine's Day show here. And yeah, here's where we're definitely gonna make this a cast iron Valentine because I have something special here that I'm proud to be able to make tonight. If I can get this thing sturdy enough, that is. There we go. I made an extreme amount of hand cut fries in my yellow Copco enamel Dutch oven. Oh, that sounds pretty good. And hello, grumpy old gringo as well. Yes. And again, I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, yeah. One Pan Man. Yes, I did take care of that particular user. He's now hidden from the channel as well. So I think that's all taken care of. Nonetheless, thank you everybody as well for showing up on a Thursday evening instead. But now let's have a little fun, shall we? Because, yeah, this is something I came across at the supermarket. And of course, as soon as I saw it, I knew this is what we would have to do tonight. How's that for a steak, folks? Yeah, they were selling it like this at Price Chopper. So once I got this, and in fact, this is a Delmonico steak, no less. So they obviously sliced it in just such a way so that it has this lovely shape to it. So, and what's more, I have had this thing in the freezer, not in the freezer, in the fridge, actually uncovered for the past 24 hours. It's it's the same as the salt brine method I did on that turkey the other day, except that all I did was coat it with salt. I gave it a salt coating, top and bottom, and left it uncovered in the fridge for 24 hours. So essentially, it's the same thing as a salt brine. Or as they call it, like now, it's more like a dry aged steak. Well, 24-hour aged anyway. So as such, I'm definitely looking forward to hitting the cast iron with this. So this is the type of thing you definitely. Where the hell did my thermometer go? Here it is. There you go. This is the type of thing you definitely want to make on Valentine's Day. So, how's it cooking with electric? Taking a little longer for things to warm up on the stovetop? Yes, it definitely does, in fact. Well, actually, how about we surprise them when it happens? Yeah, I promise. Oh, yeah, don't worry. Yeah, something's going to happen in the near future. But other than that, yes, you are correct. Yes, they are. So, anyway, yeah, I've mentioned my POS electric stove here, which, yes, it definitely does take longer to heat up. On the other hand, it does get good and hot. I will say that. So in fact, say hello to a Finex number 12 cast iron skillet, which I have, in fact, been heating up on the stove top at just over medium heat for a little more than half an hour now. And as far as medium heat goes, here's what happens when I heat it up at medium heat. This is definitely right now we are at about 500 degrees, maybe at a couple of points where maybe close to about 530. So this is definitely nice. I think I'm actually gonna crank it up a little bit more for maybe just a couple more minutes. So that we can get this thing really, really hot. And then from there, well, it will really only take a few minutes to make ourselves a steak. But yes, this is the Finex cast iron skillet. It's a number 12. I've had this in my kitchen now since I received it for Christmas in 2014. So we're so it is now just past its 7th birthday here, and I've definitely gotten a lot of use out of it. I really enjoy it, and quite frankly, when it comes to searing a steak, this is the pan I reach for. It is very thick, very heavy. Yes, it is heavier than a large cast iron pan, and I think really for that reason, I think it does about as good a job searing a steak as you can get. Now, a large cast iron pan, for the record, is also just about the best thing you can get if you want to sear a steak, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's where we get into the difference between those really expensive luxury cast iron pans versus the less expensive cast iron pans. Even the less expensive cast iron pans, notice I'm not saying cheap, are still excellent for cooking. And as such, breaking out a large cast iron skillet for your loved one on Valentine's Day is definitely the right thing to do. I mean, I just happen to have been lucky enough to have received this as a present. So, as a result, this is definitely my go-to when it comes to making a steak. Anyway, from here, I better actually turn on the oven fan for that matter. There we go. A little bit of circulation. And yeah, the window is already open, although one other thing. There we go. Had to close the door in the other room so that I hope the smoke alarm doesn't go off. That's the other thing about cooking steak that's always so much fun. All right, here we go. Papa Dan, kitchen sink completely stuffed up this week. Oh, sorry to hear that. My condolences there, Papa Dan. So, plumber hasn't gotten here yet. Hopefully Friday. Well, Friday is tomorrow, so I certainly hope that's the case for you. Anyway, it's time to get going, and let's see. That means now. That's the other thing for a steak. I like actually using corn oil myself because it has a high smoke point, and I find it's less likely to burn and less likely to put any kind of an extra taste into the steak. So corn oil is really my preferred method for searing a steak in cast iron. Basically, what you really want to use is a high smoke point oil, especially for that reason, so that it won't start burning and, again, giving the steak a taste that you really don't want. And having done that, right about now, let me get out tongs as well. Do you believe it is time for the meat to hit the pan? That's a nice thing about aging this as well, is that it's nice and solid. And here we go. So far, so good. And while we're at it, the other thing I have available is, of course, a thermometer. I debated using my new wireless thermometer, but I don't think there's really enough room in the pan for all of that, in fact. However, the next time I make one of these, I think I'm going to use the wireless thermometer, because the next time I make one, I will use the reverse sear method. I'm not doing the reverse sear method this time, largely because, well, the cake is in the oven. So I only have so much room, unfortunately. Which means we get to do this carefully. We get to do this the hard way. And while I'm waiting, let's pull out a plate here for this. Notice I did not even have to salt the steak. because again, the steak was salted yesterday. So then we get into the science of things like osmosis and continue from there. I do believe it's good enough. I'm already seeing a little bit on the sides, so I do believe it's good enough for us to flip it carefully. There we go. How's that for a starter? Oh, I'm definitely going to have to take a photo of this thing before it comes out of the pan, because this is going to be a thumbnail, that's for sure. Thumbnail photo. Nonetheless, especially since the steak is so thick. I'm sorry? You want yours to moo. I will make a note of that. That means I'm going to have to cook this thing to about just under, between 120 and 125. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be careful as I keep track of that. So, let's see. I know we are a long way to go yet. Maybe not that long, surprisingly enough. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to keep an eye on this, that's for sure. If this thing is already saying this much. Wow, that is not taking long at all, is it? In fact, it's suspiciously too fast. I'm actually wondering if this thermometer is calibrated correctly. Let me do this very quickly. Let's pull out another thermometer and see what this one says, just for the heck of it. Of course, yeah, I know I do have to be quick. There's no question about that. Let's see what this one here says. Nice and careful. Yeah, this is much more likely. Okay, now I'm starting to think that other thermometer there may not be calibrated correctly. So, good thing we double checked this. So on the other hand, this is what she was asking for. She wanted the steak to move. We have about a minute or so. I think maybe I can flip this one more time, and then we will continue from there. Oops, careful. Fold it over, why don't I? I think I had better. Where the heck did my phone go? Just had it right here. There it is. I think I had better quickly take a picture while there is still time. There we go. So far, so good. Yes, it is. That is a hot skillet. Now, let's see what we got so far. Well, it's getting close. Oh, I better be careful here. Okay. I think it may be time to. I'm gonna give it one flip, and then it's coming out. I do not trust myself. Oh yeah, this is much more like it. Okay. Let me quickly get one more, and then this thing is coming out. There we go. That didn't take long, did it? Having done that, get this out of here right now. That sure didn't take long. Man, I guess that's one of the special things about a Delmonico steak, that's for sure. Let's test this one last time. I'm still, I think it's a little iffy, actually. No, maybe not. Okay. I think I will have to leave it as is. All right. That sure did not take long, that's for sure. Let's tent this. In fact, I'm quite surprised how quickly that went. Boy, we're only 45 minutes into this. This is a lot faster than it usually would be. That's for sure. And I think I better turn off the pan right now so that I don't, so that I don't burn what's already in it. So, all right. Nice picture on this side. Well, I'm okay. I'm glad you got a good picture, Peg Tooth. That I was a little worried about that. This thing really just like cooked like nothing here. I'd say it was only in the pan for a few minutes, and I think it hit the right temperature. So, yeah.
Cooking steaks fast.
Yes, it did.
Short order cooking.
Yes, indeed. So, Yeah, Terry's Papa Dan. Terry Sinchef, my wife wouldn't care how much travel time you change. She's got to have her coffee. Yeah, exactly. That is a hot skillet. Yeah, as I mentioned already, this is a Finex. So that it certainly did not take long for this Finex to cook the steak. That's for sure. And if you like yours well done, well, that's your taste. And that's all I will say about that. Really, the arguments over people who like their steaks medium rare or well done, that is really just about almost as bad as the people who argue over sugar in cornbread. So, hey. Heart-shaped steak, yes, and I'm definitely looking forward to taking a bite out of this as well. It might also be because of the fact that I dry brine this for 24 hours, and then I actually took it out of the out of the fridge and left it out in order for the steak to come to room temperature before it cooked. And so as a result, this thing really cooked in practically no time at all. All right, let me get one more photo of this because I'm sure this is something that I would not want to forget. So, do this right. There we go. If not for the price of this, I'm actually tempted to go back and get another heart-shaped steak so that I can do a much better video of this over the weekend. And the real disadvantage of that though is the cost of the steak because this is a 2-pound Delmonico steak. So yeah, the price of this was, well, let's just say it's something special because hey, that's the reason why they did it. Of course, they made it at this shape and sold it at that price because the idea is just that for Valentine's Day you want to do something special. I'll say right now this steak costs $35. On the other hand, if you go to a steakhouse, any semi-decent or even not so decent steakhouse, we're talking like Applebee's, for instance. What can you get for $35 at Applebee's just for yourself, never mind for two people? So yeah, on the whole, that's one reason why ever since I learned how to cook in cast iron, I have never eaten from a steakhouse. Well, no, once I did, and that's another story. But yeah, I mean, it's just so easy to cook a steak in cast iron that really there's practically no reason at all to go and spend $50 or $100 at a steakhouse. So, all right, Hell Streak. YouTube hid your comment, but I'm actually going to show that one. So, so anyway, hey, check this out.
Oh, awesome! That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this as well. So, this is actually, as I said, gone a lot faster than I expected too. I mean, boy, all things considered. All right. Well, if you want, yeah. But okay. But nonetheless, I think I will keep on going. In regards to, as I mentioned already, this is a Finex cast iron skillet, and even though I got this as a Christmas present, in back in 2014. I was not expecting that at all, and it's debatable whether I would ever have paid the full price for a Finex. I mean, granted, this is a really, really nice cast iron pan, and I'm very, very glad to have it. And as far as I know, I am never going to get rid of it, especially for that reason. But it's really hard to justify the cost when, as I said, your vintage Wagner and Lodge and even modern day Lodge cast iron will sear a steak just as well as what we saw here. But on the other hand, we can't really completely dismiss the market for luxury kitchen items. I mean, not just the fact that there are a lot of companies that depend on it, but yeah, I mean, really, there is something special about getting a really nice luxury kitchen item, whether it's a Finex cast iron pan or whether you get yourself a Shun or Global chef knife, for instance, as opposed to just a regular Dexter chef's knife or even a Victorinox. It's real. There's really something extra about the luxury stuff that is really nice as a very, very special gift, which I guess comes back to Valentine's Day as well. So if anybody has one of these pans, I would say use it with pride. And if all you have, quote, all quote, you have is a collection or even a small collection of Lodge, Camp Chef, unmarked Wagner, and of course our favorite Birmingham Stove and Range. Use it and show it off with pride. Any cast iron pan pretty much is a wonderful tool to have in the kitchen, especially where you can do what we did here, and we saved ourselves a whole lot of money by making ourselves up a 2-pound steak, just like that. Because again, a 2-pound steak at really any steakhouse these days, yeah, the cost of it is, there you go. That's the thing. I mean, if you feel it's justified taking your loved one out to a steakhouse and getting a 2-pound steak for Valentine's Day, and all the more power to you if you do, then really that's pretty much the same as justifying the cost of a luxury cast iron skillet like this Finex here. Papa Dan. Add BSR and Martin and Lodge. Martin to Lodge, doing an excellent job on searing steaks. Yes, exactly. So, how much was the steak? This steak actually cost $35 at Price Choppers. So, yeah, this was definitely something special. It's like when I saw it, I just knew I had to get that for that. Really, for that reason, just so that I could show that here and to take the chance and hope I did not overcook the steak. But based on that temperature gauge, I would say there's nothing to worry about there. So, one moment, please. There we go. Now that the steak is done, I can close the window because it is still winter, unfortunately. So, yeah, but besides, let me see. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Because especially I have this all of this grease, well, not so much grease. I mean, really more like steak juices. I really should put together something so that these pan juices do not go to waste. I mean, what do you think about that? While this thing is still hot, let me turn this back up. And I think I will throw together very quickly a quick gravy so that we can definitely justify spending a little bit more time here, as well as making this pan juice, getting some use out of it as well. So that means get to throw out my whisk. I'll just wait a couple minutes anyway for this thing to get good and hot again. And then it'll really be no more than just a little bit of flour. And I'm not sure if I think I even have a little bit of beef stock in the fridge. So as opposed to your usual milk. Is that a BSR Red Mountain or Century skillet that you use for your steaks? Either one of those is great. I mean, BSR made quality product pretty much until its final days. And that's one reason why a BSR Century is still a great thing to own in the kitchen. Wagner, it was said that the quality of their pans decreased over time, unfortunately, so that when we got into the Wagner's 1891 pans, well, they're really not worth that much for precisely that reason. They're considered to be not that great as far as cast iron is concerned. Yet, if you have one of those, continue using it with pride. In no instance am I going to tell you to get rid of a cast iron pan in your kitchen, just about no matter what you have. If you have, for instance, a made in Taiwan cast iron pan, one of those kinds with the wooden handle, for instance, use it, show it off. There is nothing at all wrong with using that, any more than there's nothing at all wrong with using a vintage Erie or Griswold to make your steaks on Valentine's Day. I guess you could call it like an equal opportunity cast iron user, in that I would not hesitate to use any of those. I mean, I've spent the last 10 years getting what I hope is a quality collection of cast iron, but then that's because I've been somewhat obsessive about the subject. If, on the other hand, you have a set of like maybe 2 or 3 made in Taiwan cast iron skillets that like you were handed down to you from your mom or your grandmother, use them with pride. If you feel like you want to replace them with Lodge, you can do that. If you feel it's good enough to use, it's good enough for you, then again, keep on using it. Having said that, I do believe it's time now. Let me get a little bit of this. And a little bit. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, there we go. A little bit of milk. And let's throw just a wee bit of, oh yeah, actually, that's also what I need. There's really not a lot of pan grease here. I better throw in some butter too while I'm at it. So, where the heck did that butter go? There it is. Oops. Hey, the door's wide open. Oh, okay. Okay, good. Sorry, I just saw the door wide open, but Jamie said that the cats were in the bedroom, so nothing to worry about. And having said that, I think this actually kind of reminds me of back when I probably told this story before as well. There we go. Namely that when I didn't know any better and I was growing up, and every so often I would visit my dear old Italian grandmother. She would every once in a while cook steak for us. And of course, while steak was special, I really didn't know any better, because after she made that steak, I would always, and I mean always, absolutely drown my steak in Worcestershire sauce. And I grew up for years. That was the only way I would ever have steak. So, I mean, yeah, I love Worcestershire sauce, but really, my grandmother would sometimes say to me, you should really try eating it without the Worcestershire sauce and taste it for yourself. And I never did. And yeah, that was something of a sin, yes. And really, I never had the chance to apologize to my grandmother about that. But, well, if she is up there looking down, I can only hope she's approved on the cooking I've done since then. So that's no more. Of course, you can put pretty much whatever you want on your steak. That is, for instance, there you go. If you want to put hot sauce on your steak, you can do so. If you want to drown your steak in ketchup, you can do so, because it's your steak. That's the thing. And of course, it really should meet your taste. On the other hand, I've definitely learned to appreciate the taste of a nice medium rare steak. There we go. That should mix in with those pan juices. You know, I have to say there wasn't really too much in the way of pan juices. I guess that was the other thing about that dry brine on the steak, all of which I find very appealing. Depending on how the steak tastes, although I'm feeling pretty confident about how the steak is going to taste, I'd say likely I'm probably going to be doing this method as well. Oh, that's the other thing. This, I guess, gets down to the question about when do you salt your steak? As I said, on this particular steak, I decided to go the same method that I did with the dry brine. I coated the steak with salt 24 hours in advance at about 8 p.m. last night, in fact. And from there, I left it uncovered in the fridge so that the steak would intentionally begin dry aging for at least one day. So I have seen YouTube videos that really show great results, and so as a result, I'm looking forward to it. There are, I mean, I guess it's really a matter of taste because there are some people who say you should only salt the steak like maybe about a minute before, before you cook it, and others say salt it about an hour, and others still, um, only a tiny bit more flour. I don't want too much flour. That's probably more than enough. So I guess the question with salting your steak is between 1 minute, 1 hour, and 1 day. Pretty much no matter which one you get, you're going to get yourself a wonderful tasting steak because, hey, it's steak. And then, of course, that also depends on the cut of steak that you're using as well. I mean, sirloin is a good steak, but you do have to tenderize it, for instance. And that I think is where the longer dry brine really helps. Pretty much like if you're doing a brine on a turkey, it helps definitely to tenderize it and make it moist. So, especially for that reason, if you're using a tougher steak like sirloin or worse, or different rather, I should say, then you definitely should salt it well in advance and give it time to break down those tendons on the steak. All right, having done that, now just a little bit of milk. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Probably did not even need that second bit of flour. I think I can turn this off. In fact, it's probably hot enough and I don't want to burn it. This is definitely a nice buttery gravy though from that butter that I threw in. There we go. Gravy making is an art, and I am still an amateur at it, much the way I am an amateur at just about every other aspect of cooking, that's for sure. Yeah, look at this. This thing is definitely becoming more of a roux right now. I'm going to have to add a fair amount of liquid to this, in fact, in order to thin it out again into a gravy. So, let's do that, shall we? Fresh pineapple marinade will soften the steak. Yeah, that's not bad. Ketchup is good, along with a shot of Frank's. I use very strong black tea to make a sauce sometimes. Oh, that's not bad either. So, first thing Mom taught was Sea White. I'm guessing that must be a brand. All right, there we go. Now it's time to start thinning this out. I do have the heat turned off at this point. So from here, okay, come on. We want this to thin out. Which it looks like is Not as easy as it looks, isn't it? There we go. A little bit more milk yet. Basically, if this does not work, I won't use it on the steak. End of story. Funny, I didn't think yeah, I'm thinking maybe yet again I might have simply used too much flour. Actually, it's starting to look a little better now. However, it's debatable whether I'm going to use this on my steak, unfortunately. I mean, while it's a nice butter gravy, I don't think I want to spoil the taste of the steak with this. On the other hand, we throw in a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper and just a wee bit more milk, and then see how this turns out. Essentially, as I said, if it's too thick, I am not going to ruin the steak with it, because yet again, it means all I could do is keep practicing my gravy. Hi, Papa Dan. The only Facebook group I'm on is Cast Iron Cooking. Huh. You're right somewhere. White gravy rules. Well, yeah, this is definitely turning out to be a white gravy. I won't deny that. And really, if I was making like a chicken fried steak, this is probably really what I would want to see on it. The difference, though, is that this is a Delmonico steak, and as such, I do not want the gravy to drown out the steak. Maybe just a touch more milk, and I think, as far as gravy is concerned, this will probably be done. In which case, then, I should probably, well, see how the steak turned out, because the steak has certainly been resting well enough. Yeah, actually, I'd say on the whole, I guess not exactly taking back my words, but as far as gravy is concerned, I'm thinking this actually is not so bad. However, I'm going to wait before putting this on my steak, because I think at this point we should go and take a look at the steak and see how it turned out. Let me put this milk back. And as always, thank you for waiting, folks. All right, let's pull out the knife. Oh yeah. This I am looking forward to giving it a try. So let's see what it looks like, shall we? This is going to be my piece, and the other will be Jamie's. Hey, check this out, folks. On the whole, I would say that did not turn out too badly. Looks like we got a little bit of fat on the inside, and that's why it has this ring around it. But on the other hand, as far as the inside goes, I would say that is not bad at all. I would say it most likely did indeed make maybe medium rare. So having said that, now comes the moment of truth. And let's test this out. Oh yeah. Still has some moo left in it, and that is exactly what Jamie had asked for. So, if you put brown mustard with chicken stock, oh yeah, and actually that's true. Oh, there is that. Okay. Hmm. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Kimberly Miller. You have COVID. Well, my condolences. The best I could say is cook yourself a nice steak as soon as you get better. That's really about the best thing I think we can say here. So, Jamie's missing out. Well, yeah, she is going to be dining on steak tonight. That's for sure. No question about that. Um, the cake, on the other hand, I think I'm going to do one quick peek on the cake, and then we'll see whether or not we are able to continue here. I'm really hoping that the cake turned out all right. And the result being, oh man, holy cow.
How much stuff did you put in it?
Holy cow. Okay, I better get.
Eric, how much stuff did you put in?
Yeah, I know. I think I may have actually used a bit much.
I think you did.
Yeah, I'll say. Wow.
Yeah, like that's a bit much.
Here.
And you don't.
Excuse me. Okay, let me.
No, you're good. You're good. Just
Put this to the side carefully. Sorry about this. Thing okay?
Rolling pin just rolled off the table.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Here, can you put this in?
Yeah, I'll put this over here right now.
Oh, if anybody wants to know what a bunch of cast iron sounds like being wrapped by a marble.
Yes.
A marble rolling pin. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So lovely. Where's the...
Excuse me, please.
Excuse me.
Okay, this turned out a little different than expected. That's for sure, folks. I'm sorry for the difficulty, but that's all right.
Oh my God, I made ice cream.
Mm.
Oh my God, I made ice cream.
Well, give me a moment. I've got to get this out of the oven as quickly as
Hold
I
on,
can.
I made ice cream. It is a comedy of errors.
Yes, I guess.
I made ice cream.
So is mine.
I made ice cream.
I
made cheesecake, Nutella, ice cream. What? Homemade.
Meanwhile, oh no, and it's still not done yet either. It's definitely too soft.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. So back in
nailed
the
it
quickly. Yeah, that's one word for it. Nailed it. Better put this in before it falls.
Oh my God, I made ice cream.
Hey.
I did.
Excuse me, please.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Not sure. Oh.
I made ice cream.
Yeah, I
made
see
ice
it.
cream.
Mm-hmm.
I made ice cream.
Not sure if anybody got a look at that cake. I had to quickly put that back into the oven because it's not good yet. That's for sure. Okay, meanwhile, let me move this over to the side. Meanwhile, Jamie is crowing because she made ice cream.
I didn't mean to.
Well,
It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be whipped cream. It's supposed to be like a cheesecake air.
Yeah.
Ingredient air cheesecake.
Well, that's not a bad thing either. That's for sure. So, okay. Is somebody buffering? Was that Val's Black Cats? Okay.
I'll bring it to him.
Oh, and hello, Jose Lachios as well. Nice to see you here again.
Well,
Apologize for the confusion here. This is turning out to be quite an evening, that's for sure. Okay. I'll be able to loosen up this gravy as well.
I'll show it when it's fully whipped.
Okay.
So what this is called 3-ingredient cheesecake, except for I added a 4th ingredient, Nutella. Okay. So what it is, you take I don't do ingredients. So you take half. What's supposed to be the ingredients is half a package of Philadelphia cheese. I did a whole package, and I did what was that, about a cup of Nutella? I would say?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less. What size? What size
Yeah.
whipping cream is that?
Yeah. About that.
Yeah, and a little bit of confectionery sugar, and you whip it, and it makes like a mousse, but it's cheesecake mousse.
As somebody says, it's like Laurel and Hardy do the cooking sometimes. Very entertaining. Well, yes. Unfortunately, as I've said before, I am not a professional chef. I am the first person who will definitely say that. And so as a result, I get unexpected results here, such as what happened with this cake. Let me see if I can get another view of that as carefully as I can. and you'll be able to see it for yourself. Or better yet, and most of it is, yeah. Okay, I don't think I can do that again because I can't, I can't exactly get the camera any closer, unfortunately. But that cake has risen a lot more than I expected. So I definitely need, yeah, cake on chaos, yes. So I definitely need to let this thing stay in the oven for about at least another 20 minutes or so. And throw mint and brown mustard and gravy to kick it up a notch. Nonetheless, even despite all this, I'm still very happy with how the steak turned out. So as such, I am actually quite happy with the results here. Let's get a more interesting view of this right now, because I think it would be more interesting, folks, to look at a cast iron at the stove top or side of the stove as it is. Miranda Benedict, I'm about to have shrimp stir fry in cast iron, and that sounds good as well. I've never been a heavy seafood person myself, but I have made jambalaya several times. So, and actually, I saw recently this recipe on a channel that I follow for making Cajun etouffee, and I have not yet done that. So that's another thing I'm going to have to be doing soon. That's for sure. But really, I'd say that pretty much sums up what I had been saying, namely that, yeah, comedy of errors. Yeah, that's one way to describe it. That's for sure. Namely, as I mentioned, the use of luxury cast iron here, as far as using it on Valentine's Day or really any other time of the year. The best I could say is if you have it, use it. Whether you have a Finex cast iron pan or a Lodge cast iron pan or an Asian cast iron pan or Griswold or any other kind. That's really what it comes down to, I think, more than anything else. Use it with pride, and I can only hope that you get a lot of use out of it, because if you do, you will find yourself really pretty much giving up almost every other pan in your kitchen, or at least that's what it turned out for me. Some people disagree and they still use their stainless steel and even their nonstick pans, and they are, of course, very welcome to do so in their own kitchens. So, but having said all that, though, folks, yeah, and thanks, yeah, Rob Van Veen. Well, yeah, thanks for the entertainment. That's really what I think I could say more than anything else. I mean, as I said, I have a lot of fun doing these live videos, and it's more the fun and enjoyment of it than anything else. And it's really you folks here that make this worth it. So, despite the fact that I occasionally run into little snags like I ran into tonight, it's still enjoyable, and I keep on doing it largely because careful there.
I know.
Okay. And it's enjoyable largely because really of the folks like you who watch it and comment on it. And I very much encourage comments as well as questions and answers too. So it sounds like the steak was good. The cake, once it's done, yeah, that's what we will find out in about another 10 to 20 minutes. But I don't think we're going to be going over an hour and a half on this one. So
Show this off.
what's up?
It's the mousse.
Oh, yes.
It's the air cheesecake.
Oh, yes. So you changed it back into mousse then?
Well, that's what it was to begin with. It's air cheesecake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this isn't bad as well. Jamie spent this evening as well making a nice Nutella chocolate mousse. And we made
3-ingredient cheesecake, air cheesecake.
3-ingredient air cheesecake, and we may as well frost the cake with this when it comes out of the oven or after it cools off too. So.
It was kind of neat when it was frozen. How do you think? It was good frozen, huh?
Mm-hmm. Eric D. Sliter, hi again. We love our Griswold. Yes, and the best I could say is get a lot of use out of that. I should probably point out as well that there is going to be more cast iron in use next week, because a couple of weeks ago we decided what the agenda for the next couple of weeks was going to be. We did a Valentine's steak tonight, and I am actually very happy with how that turned out. Next week, on the other hand, is going to be cornbread. So yeah, so we are going to be playing around with some vintage cast iron and different shaped cast iron pans and making cornbread next week. And everybody is, of course, encouraged to come and enjoy and see how I managed to screw that one up. As we might even do a brown bread. And JR Marcad says, literally tuned in as I was heating my Wagner #8 to cook a steak. Ours is destined to be cut up for a salad. Oh, that I'm looking forward to. You should get a gravy whisk. Well, yeah, the whisks. I got this whisk only recently, and I'm not too disappointed with it. And Gunter 45. Well, things don't always go the way you want, but it's so much better than the pre-made sterile videos where everything goes without errors. Yes, and on the other hand, those are fun too. At least when I manage to get one of those done once in a while. So. My mom said the best way to learn is by making mistakes, and that's one reason we like to watch others. And I'm more than happy to make mistakes for you on camera. I will not disagree with that. Nonetheless, as I said, I really can still call tonight a success, if for no other reason than that steak. And that I do believe I may actually work on another steak video this weekend, especially so that it'll be done for Valentine's Day. That's not a bad plan, I think. Yeah. Yes, that's true for your son's birthday. However, I do believe it's time for us to get going. Let me remind you, though, as I said, I will be here next Wednesday for Cast Iron Wednesday, and that again is when we are going to be playing around with cornbread pans of all shapes and sizes. So I can only hope folks enjoy that. And above all else, though, I just hope you enjoy yourself. Period. So, and keep on cooking in cast iron. And thank you, everybody, for showing up here. That's really what I enjoy more than anything else. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. And the best I could say now is, once again, see you next Wednesday. Bye. Have a good evening. Yeah, I don't feel like it.